Now, Auckland Council says, like many other cities, it's grappling with the balance between safety and demand for e-scooters. Council and Auckland Transport licence electric scooter companies in the city, but rules around speed, wearing helmets and where you can and can't ride are set by NZTA. ACC figures show there's been 2,556 e-scooter related claims made between October 2018 and June 2019, and those claims costing around $2.7 million. The vast majority of those stem from Auckland, 1,162. With Christchurch being the second highest at 708. Included in the claims are 56 concussions, 59 dental injuries and 412 fractures or dislocations. There are about 6 weeks left to run on the second phase of Auckland Council's electric scooter trial. That trial included beefed up reporting requirements after Lime scooters were earlier taken off the streets due to a braking fault. Well, joining me now is Auckland Council's Director of Regulatory Services, Craig Hobbs. Thanks for coming into the studio, Craig.
Thanks, Lisa.
Is there any mechanical fault at play here?
Lisa, before we do that, can I just offer my condolences to the family? I mean, this is a terrible, terrible tragedy for the young man involved, obviously, and the family involved. And, we really do feel for them. It's a very sad situation. So I just wanted to pass on our condolences from Auckland Council. Understand.
So what do you know about whether a mechanical fault is an issue here?
Yeah, we know very little at this stage. The coroner's investigating, obviously, and that's probably the right place to have this. We have had an initial report out of Lime, which they're obligated to do within 48 hours when a situation like this occurs. The initial information from them indicates that they don't believe there is a problem. Having said that, we are asking for more information.
What more information do you need from them?
Well, we need to have a full evaluation by an organisation that actually is independent, that understands root cause analysis, that can look at the firmware software issues.
Who's that going to be? So at the moment, Lime is giving you information, but you're going to get someone to do an independent look at the scooter?
We're commissioning our own investigation as well, and I won't share who that is at this stage.
Why not?
I don't think that's appropriate in terms of using the name of the individual. I don't know the company he works for. I know the name of the individual, but we've asked them to get straight onto this and also review any information that comes back from Lime.
So the information that Lime has given you so far, can you rule out a mechanical fault?
I don't think we can rule out anything at this stage. We're not seeing a systemic issue in terms of like the locking incident where we had a whole lot of examples of it happening. This is it appears to be a one-off. Having said that, we need to satisfy ourselves that it's not a systemic issue.
What have you seen that suggests it's not a systemic issue?
To date, it's only what Lime's provided us. But bear in mind that they have...
Can you give us a bit of an overview of what they have provided you? Do you know what speed the scooter was going at?
I don't have that detail. What I have been told by them is that their initial investigation indicates that there doesn't seem to be any mechanical or software issue with the scooter.
When did Lime tell you that their scooter hadn't been involved in this incident?
So they've been in touch with us from the Monday night when the accident first occurred, which is what they're obligated to do, and we've been in constant contact with them since then.
So do you know what is contained in that initial report? Because your trial requires them to get in contact with you within 24 hours for a serious incident. I presume
Yes. Yeah. So they contacted us on the Monday night when the accident occurred.
And what information have they provided exactly?
So they've given us a report out of their assurance team that indicates that they can find no fault with the scooter.
Have they given you raw data from the scooter?
So that's what we're asking for now.
But you don't have that yet?
It's on its way to us, I believe.
Okay. Are there cameras in the area where this happened?
No, unfortunately.
So none of this was caught on camera?
No, and it's a shame.
For people who are not familiar with Auckland, the area where it occurred, some areas are geo-blocked with speed restrictions for these scooters. Was there any speed restriction in the area that the scooter was being ridden?
So no, there isn't, Lisa. I think that's important to note that our ability to regulate these things are quite low. At the end of the day, we allow them to operate from a footpath. We have no responsibility around wearing helmets or speed or where they can be ridden. That's the NZTA, as you've identified. Certainly the rideshare operators have come to the party through influence with us to geofence. My understanding is this is outside of the geofencing area.
So there was no speed restriction, voluntary speed restriction in the area where this accident occurred.
Yeah. And if I could just add too, I think the other thing that we are, I guess, pleased that the 3 operators have all come to the party with the geofencing, which offers some level of comfort around speed in high pedestrian areas. In fact, there's more privately owned e-scooters out there now, which we have no control over at all.
So as part of the trial, every scooter has to be inspected on a weekly basis and ticked off.
Yes, correct.
Yep. So the scooter involved in this accident, were its inspections up to date?
Yes, they were.
So have you seen evidence of that?
I've seen the report from Lime that indicates that is the case.
Right. So was this, in the past few weeks, had this scooter been involved in any other incidents?
Not that I've been told, and the report indicates that it wasn't.
So what conversations are you having with Lime now?
So, look, in terms of getting into detail, Lisa, we have to be careful, obviously, because there's a coronial investigation. We want to ensure that there is no issue with Lime scooters or any other rideshare scooter at all in terms of a systemic issue. We want to, obviously, safety is our paramount objective.
And you can't be sure of that at the moment?
Well, the level of detail we've had, and bear in mind that we haven't got everything we want yet, is indicating there is no systemic issue. Okay. Having said that, we don't have the data.
Then if you don't have the data and you can't categorically say it wasn't mechanical, why are these things still on the road?
Well, I think
in the meantime.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, we can only go by what we see. I mean, as I said before, if it was a systemic issue, and we did take action pretty quickly on the wheel locking because we saw examples of a whole lot of issues that we had to address. We're not seeing that in this case, but if the evidence does prove that there is a systemic issue, then we will immediately consider our options, and suspension would certainly be one of those options.
So the trial period has got 6 more weeks to run on it. Briefly, how would you characterise Lime's compliance with the requirements put on them?
Yeah, they've been good. I mean, all the operators have. Since we updated in the second trial, we updated the code of practice. We asked for them to consider safety, and they've done that through the geofencing and education. So it's good. So
will they be getting a licence extension?
Well, it's too early to make a comment on that. We haven't finished the trial. We haven't evaluated the data from the trial. I mean, this has certainly given us pause for thought, and it'll certainly be part of our consideration when we come to the end of the trial.
So in terms of that consideration, who's going to make that decision? Because there has been some criticism. Lester Levy from Auckland Transport's board said he felt it should have gone to elected officials to make a final decision. Who will make this decision? Will council make it, or will a committee, or you? Who makes it?
So we're operating under a bylaw that officers manage, and as a result of that, there will be we have a steering group who look after the ride share the scooter program, and they will be the people that would make the decision. As we did with the wheel locking, it was made by officers. That decision was made by officers.
Are you comfortable with that? Is the Mayor comfortable with that?
Well, look, I haven't talked to the Mayor about this, but it is an operational issue, and I mean, we're.
Let me put it another way. Do you think it should stay an operational issue, or do you think elected members should have the opportunity to rubber stamp this or not?
Well, I think officers will have the information to make the decision, and have enough information, and that'll be communicated to elected officials. I mean, they're obviously very interested in it. They have a stake in this. What we need to consider if we're going to move forward with a rideshare scheme is around how our bylaws can manage that. That's where the elected officials come in, because they would be the ones that would determine any changes to a bylaw.
Okay, we're running out of time, and I want to get to that in a minute. But since these extra requirements were on Lime, how many serious incidents have been reported to you?
So in the reporting that I've seen over the last week or so, and bear in mind I don't get the reports, they go to the person who manages the program. I mean, we know of 5 incidences.
And what are those things?
So that 3 of them from memory were people basically saying that they'd had an accident, they'd come off through their own misuse, if you like, and that was disclosed. We've also had the situation, of course, where there's a court case being taken around a rider hitting a pedestrian as well. So that's pretty much where that are the incidents that have been reported to us.
And has Lime during this time breached any of your reporting rules?
No.
So are you getting what you need from central government here? Because issue comes up about helmets. This young man was not wearing a helmet. There's no requirement to wear a helmet. And also, do you think people are clear about where they can ride these things? Because I'm not so sure they are.
Yeah. Look, we will continue to advocate and push central government to change.
What does that mean? Advocate and push. Come on, spell it out for me.
Well, we don't control the roads. We have no involvement in the road user rules.
When was the last time you had communication with them about this?
We've been involved with them regularly on pushing our case around greater controls.
How regularly? So what? In the last week? In the last month?
Yeah, we had a symposium on Friday where the Ministry of Transport and NZTA were at. We had all the local authorities at that symposium.
So the accident had happened happen by that stage?
Yes, correct.
And was there any sense of a shift in attitude?
We weren't aware of the fatality at that stage.
But still, it was a serious accident at that point.
It was a serious accident. I mean, there have been other serious accidents. I mean, and this is why we want them to consider and review their road user rules around these.
Have you got any undertakings from them?
They're considering everything we've put to them as they are with every other submission around their Accessible Streets program, which is where they will make the changes. We hope that they take on board the sort of information and issues that we're addressing here.
Are they dragging the chain?
Look, you'd have to talk to them about their processes and timeframes.
Okay, let me put it another way. Is the lack of action on their part making your job at council difficult in terms of dealing with e-scooters?
Well, our job is to licence them from a footpath. Now, that I don't want to abdicate responsibility. At the end of the day, we need to ensure safety of Aucklanders, but that we don't have any involvement in the speed and the helmets and so on. So, to answer your question, we would like that to happen. We would like them to consider it and come up with with stronger regulations sooner rather than later.
Arguably, you might be seen to be abdicating responsibility because you have the ultimate power. You could yank their licence.
We could suspend a licence. Yeah.
And is there any suggestion that will happen following this accident?
If it's proven to be a systemic issue, then yes.
Appreciate you joining us today. That's Craig Hobbs from Auckland Council's Director of Regulatory Services there. Now, Lime declined to be interviewed, but in a statement said the entire Lime team is deeply saddened by the news of the tragic death of one of our riders. Our thoughts and sympathies are with the rider's family and loved ones during this extremely difficult time. Lime goes on to say, we take rider safety very seriously and we are cooperating fully with the authorities on their investigation, and this includes providing the scooter and its data. The scooter's data had also been analysed by a Global Trust and Safety team, and we have also undertaken a thorough assessment of the scooter, says Lime. Out of respect for the investigation and the people directly affected, Lime says it wasn't appropriate to comment further at this time. Now, Checkpoint also requested an interview with the Associate Transport Minister, Julianne Genter, and she declined.